Good morning. This is Windows Helpline, the Saturday edition, September 30th, 2023, and it's 11 a.m. Uh-oh. You missed that on your checklist, Doug. Somebody falling down on the job. We've got two people in the Zoom session. I'm going to go through the chat room first, and then we'll go say hello to the people in the Zoom session. Let's see, I want to go over here. Yep. Oh, let's see. I also wanted to. I wanted to go look at this. What does it say? 32 people waiting. What does that mean? Waiting? They're not waiting. They're already here. Okay, 33 watching now. Okay, then come back to chat. It's Tim Cruz official. That was 5:20 p.m. last night. I was surprised to see that message still that survived the witching hour. He says he's off tomorrow, so he's here with us today. And Instagram Shorts is also Tim Cruz. Tim Sowell, I did not know Doug could play the drums that fast, LOL. That's in reference to the trailer that played before the show. Josh Kinder, Darren Gilholm, hello. Let's see, here I put in a link for the quiz in the community tab. If you click on that link, it'll open up in another window, and you'll scroll down a little bit. And here's the quiz that's relevant to one of today's topics. Then I'll put that back on that screen. Continue here. Rick Lakes, hello. Tony Wallow with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Tony. Chit chat between Dennis and Tony. Tim asks us if there's a pop quiz later. Oh no, is there a test later? So this quiz that I guess that I posted, he's worried that there's a test later. Tony says maybe. Right? That's the right way to pronounce it. Sin Vicious says hello to all. Jonathan, awesome here. You said hello to a whole bunch of people. Iowa Hank, Jonathan says hello back. Ran Israel, hello to everybody. Jonathan Seldenball, Jonathan. People chit-chatting back and forth. Oh, I had some rain here too. I don't know if I call it rain, but the weather called it showers. I went out and looked out my front door, and sure enough, the cement was a little bit wet. AV DVR good. Oh, I never did do a sound check. Here I'm gonna let's see. Oh, okay. I almost forgot where I want to do that from. I go back over here and unmute. Yep, I heard myself. You didn't hear that because I have the app audio muted from YouTube. Zavi Minor, hello. Seldenball, Greg Guy, morning all in chat. Just wake up having first cup of coffee. 68 degrees in Southern Maryland. U.S. Navy retired. Thank you for your service. Lawn Dog, Chris Garrett. I stopped making comments early. I'm tired of them being deleted. Oh, yeah. In reference, well, surprise. Tim's comments were still there from yesterday. Tim Cruz's. Yeah, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Sometimes the comments stick, sometimes they don't. Jeff Ryman. Let's see, people saying hello to each other. I believe Hebrew, right? Rand Israel and Zavi Manor. There's Jonathan saying hello to a bunch more names. I saw rain on radar in Fresno from Chris. Looks like snow in the mountains. Yeah. Jonathan to Jeff says, good to see you. All right, so I'm caught up in chat. Let's go bring in, Klingon. It was Klingon, not Hebrew. Of course not. Okay, so in Zoom, I'm about to bring you in. Get ready to mute your YouTube and give me a minute to do all the adjustments before you start talking. So I press the Zoom button, and then I'll turn on my camera in Zoom, and then I'll unmute my microphone in Zoom, so you should be able to hear me through Zoom now. Then I have to change my audio in Zoom so I can hear you. And then I have to unmute you through YouTube. So, hello, William Dawson, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we got audio on you. Tim Sowell, hello.
Hello.
How are you today?
Oh,
Oh,
great. I took the day off.
okay. Well, that makes it even better. Are you ready? Are you ready for the test? I figured I would do the final test with you alone. Are you ready for that?
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
just kidding. Just kidding. Moving on. Good morning, Jeff Ryman.
Morning.
Moving on. Good morning, Jeff Ryman.
Good mo-
Ah, he's got his audio on. Morning, Jeff Ryman.
Got it.
All right. Thank you. How's Las Vegas today?
Overcast.
Overcast. So that means if you're
Okay,
going to be
quick.
fishing, you have to cast overhead. I get it.
I have a quick question for you at the appropriate time.
All right. Let me say hello to the last two here, then we'll come back to your question. And Bobby Warren, hello. Is Bobby there to unmute and say hello? Moving on to Tim. Hello, Tim.
Hello, DougBetts. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not doing so good. My computer's a little bit under the weather right now.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that in a little bit, okay? And
Okay.
hello, Chris Garrett.
Hello,
How are you today?
I'm going good.
All right. Let's come back to Jeff. What's up?
I have an HP laptop that came with Windows 10 Home on it. Way back when Windows 8 came out, Microsoft was selling keys cheap. So they sold me a Windows 8 Pro key for $40, direct from Microsoft way back in the day. And I used that key to upgrade from home to pro on that laptop. Now, the home key is embedded in the BIOS. And I had the whole thing crash once, and I had to start over and hunt down the pro key again to upgrade again. Somehow it didn't register with Microsoft that it had upgraded. Now, you've seen the thing where Microsoft is not going to let Windows 7 and 8 keys be used anymore. So I'm thinking I probably ought to make a good image backup of that laptop while it still has got Pro on it, because I suspect that key very soon probably wouldn't work to upgrade anymore. Would you concur with that assessment?
Maybe let me ask a couple other questions. What version of Windows is the laptop currently using?
Windows 10 Pro.
Windows 10 Pro.
And
Well,
it is qualified to do 11.
all right. I haven't proven this, but even though that computer started out with a Windows 8 a home key and then upgraded to Windows 8 Pro, then you upgraded to Windows 10, right?
No, it came with Windows 10 Home,
Oh, it came with Windows 10 Home.
and the key is embedded in the BIOS for Windows 10 Home.
Okay.
Because it something happened and it just wouldn't boot about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And so I restored it, and then I had to do the upgrade again from home to pro. And the same key still worked. But now that Microsoft is going to trash those keys, I'm just wondering if that would work again for whatever reason, even though it had already been upgraded to 10 Pro earlier and I'd been running it for a while that way. I couldn't get it to go back to Pro without redoing the upgrade with that key.
So you tried to do a fresh install of Windows 10 Pro and it wouldn't work?
Yeah, I had to do home first and then go to the thing where you give it a new key and you upgrade it to Pro.
Because I was expecting, and my first reaction to that was that, well, Windows 10 should now be using a digital license.
Well, that's what you would think, and
Yeah.
I thought it was, but for whatever reason, it didn't want to recognize it. And so I'm thinking I ought to have an image backup of it just so I could restore that way. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
you ought to
think,
have the backup anyway, for obvious reasons.
right, right. But I'd be tempted to go a step further because you don't want to wind up with a problem months or years down the road and then find out that your reinstalled doesn't work just from that image backup. So what I'd be tempted to do is make an image backup and then try doing a fresh install on that computer with that drive of Windows 10 Pro and see if Microsoft doesn't recognize a digital license for it without you putting in
Yeah.
any
Well,
license
that's
key.
what I tried to do about a year and a half ago when the whole thing just crashed.
Yeah.
And
Jill,
so,
Jill,
yes, sir.
you say it came with 8 or it came
Came
with
with 10 home.
10 home, okay.
But when I wanted to upgrade to Pro, I had this key that I had bought directly from Microsoft way back in the day when they were trying to get people to go to 8. And 8 was, of course, not very popular. And so I never went to 8 on it. Well, I never went to 8 on the machine I originally bought the key for.
Okay. So you bought the computer with Windows 10 Home on it, but you
Right.
used
And
a
this was like years after I bought this key.
Yeah, the key that you purchased was a Windows 8 Pro.
Right,
Right?
right. And that was when 8 first came out and Microsoft was trying to convince people to upgrade and they were selling these keys
Okay.
cheap.
So you use the Windows 8 Pro key to upgrade your Windows 10 Home computer to Windows 10 Pro.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, well you've got
And if
an
you want to go and buy the upgrade from within Windows from Microsoft, it's like $100 or something, or 110 or 100, whatever it was.
yeah, and I've tried that and had troubles with it. I had to go back and use that trick that I have a video out there
I
using
remember
their
the video you made
special.
on it.
Yeah. So that did not go smoothly. But so you're saying that the Windows, because you have a Windows 8 Pro key involved there, that is embedded
Right,
in,
and
in
you've heard
BIOS.
the recent announcement that Microsoft is very soon going to make it so none of the Windows 7 or 8 keys can be used for 10 or 11.
Yeah. So I am just wondering where you could get caught out with this or in
Well,
trouble
if
with
the
it.
whole thing crashed again and I didn't have the image backup, then I would
Yeah.
go back and reinstall it. And when I did this a year and a half, 2 years ago, when the thing just, for whatever reason, wouldn't boot,
Yeah.
it grabbed the key from the BIOS preferentially, apparently.
Yeah. Well, my response to your question is yes. You should make an image backup. That gives
Yeah,
you
well,
an
you
extra
obviously ought to have a
resource.
backup all the time anyway.
Right. Right.
All right.
And
All
for
right.
me,
Well,
I
I
keep
won't take up the rest of your stream with this stuff. Thank you for the
yeah. But
analysis.
let's take what the chat room is saying about this. Let's see. No more free Windows 10 upgrade from Windows 7 8 keys. Yes, we've seen that. Jeff, now what is the date on that? Now this is from ZDNet, and I think it was Gary that gave us a link actually to Microsoft saying, giving their official announcement.
Yeah.
Oh, they had that again. That free offer ended 2016. I never did that. That was really kind of confusing to me.
Yeah, these explanations are not entirely clear.
Yeah. What date were they saying to end that use of the 7 or 8 key for
Well, they haven't
upgrading?
said. A couple articles I've seen say it's still working right now, but you better get a move on if you're
All
gonna
right.
do that.
So that
And
piece is clear as
my
mud too.
laptop is working fine right now. The only issue I have with it is that it's slow. I have a solid state drive for it that I haven't installed yet. I'm going to clone the old drive and use the solid state drive.
Yeah.
And it is qualified to go to 11, strangely enough, even though it's a slow machine.
All right. Well, let me get other comments here in response to this. Lawn Dog says, if you've upgraded already using that Windows 8 key to Windows 10, no matter what version, if the upgrade has occurred, you're locked in. Well, that's what we think.
Supposed to be, and it's been a while since I did this, but what I ended up having to do was just reinstall Windows 10 using the home key from the BIOS, and then I reused the Pro key and updated it.
Yes, I got that. The point here is that your experience contradicts this statement.
Well, if my
Yes?
memory is right, I'm not sure that I
Okay.
tried to do it exactly like he's saying.
All right. So then OnDog is also saying if there's machines out there that need to do the upgrade, do it right away. If you use a Windows 7 Pro key to upgrade Windows 10
Well,
Pro,
Windows 8,
no.
but the
Yeah,
same
got
idea.
that. Got that. Let me just catch up with the comments here. OnDog to Jeff, what you're describing is kind of weird. Your key should be locked in. You made it to Windows 10. For some reason, there's an issue. Maybe type the key used. Yeah, so it seems that there's some anomaly here. They already turned off activation. I would make a backup just to be safe. Ran Israel agreed.
Yeah.
Seldom Ball's
Yeah.
asking what procedure did you use to reinstall when first reinstalling from scratch from USB? It has no network access, so it can only use the embedded key. Well, that's a good point there. When you tried to reinstall and it wasn't activating, did
Well,
you allow a network internet connection?
well, that's a good point. I'm trying to think back. I have the original Windows 10 home images from the restore
Yeah.
partition that comes on it, and I made the CDs or the DVDs off of that. That may have been what I originally used. I don't remember if I had the Pro key in hand when I first started this. My memory says I had to look for it in my emails from Microsoft from way back when.
Okay. But the point there that I wanted to get across is that you would need to have it connected to the internet in order for a digital license to get accepted.
Right, right.
My trusty Windows 7 machine originally came with home. I got upgraded to Windows 7 Pro many years ago. So of course, one day I had a major problem. I had to start all over from Zavi. To install fresh Windows that will ignore the embedded key in BIOS, must set a file ei.cfg. That could be useful if you did
Okay, yeah.
have to pursue that.
Make.
Yeah, you want to capture that.
Thanks,
So
Zavi.
config file to place in sources ei.cfg inside Windows installation USB. So you have to make the Windows installation USB, go into the sources folder, and edit this file ei.cfg,
Yeah. All right.
and make the changes indicated here. Good.
Good advice. Thank you.
Good information. Thank you, Zvi. Install Windows 7 home, use the upgrade key. Let's see, I'm going to skip through a little bit quicker. Richard Rogers, hello. And Israel says, this looks promising. What's he got? How to remove OEM product key from BIOS firmware of a laptop. This might be the same instruction. Take a little bit to figure out whether that's the same thing or not, because that's all text-based.
Now I don't know.
Any problems wiping the machine starting over because Microsoft has the credentials? Has anyone ever watched Level 1 Tech News? I don't believe I don't recognize that. Tony Wallow, Richard Rogers. Also, to add to the confusion, I found over the years that key readers oftentimes go and grab different numbers for the key. That's confusing, so use a couple of tools to find the key and see for differences. Greg M., it's embedded in area BIOS that is not normally user accessible. Let's see, Rand to Jeff and Doug, look at first answer. He says look at the first answer that's given in there. So this would be the first answer, the first reply. It's heavily protected BIOS chip that cannot be tampered with, but there's no need to do that. If it's forcing home version, you reinstall Windows, just insert the Pro generic version key. That I'm wondering if that's similar to the way I demonstrated in a prior video about upgrading from Windows to Home to Windows Pro using a generic key. And then you're using your actual key. So maybe.
Okay, well, this looks like a good advice there, assuming it works.
Yeah. So that could be another.
I had forgotten
similar related.
there are websites that have all of those Pro keys out there, not specific to a machine, but just the generic.
Yeah, generic keys.
Hey, Doug.
Hello, Josh.
How are you?
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
good, but
you
I'm
to
not.
handle
I'm not
other-
ready to yet. Hang on. Go ahead, Jeff.
I will leave you to handle other questions now. Appreciate your
Yeah.
advice.
Well, I wanna finish the rest of comments that people have about on this question. Yeah, Lawn Dog also pointing out $16 for the discounted key from Kerry Holzman. So don't beat yourself up too much over it is one way to approach that. But the technician, curious technician, in many of us, well, I don't know if it's many of us, me anyway.
And with
With what?
those keys, you run into that thing that you ran into. Those are keys to be used for fresh installs, not upgrades.
Yes, but if you're having problems with a computer that was upgraded, I suspect that you'd be able to accomplish it with a fresh key as well, as an alternative way of
Yeah,
going about
sometimes
it.
the
I would
upgrade
expect.
keys are slightly modified somehow in Microsoft's stuff from the like OEM keys, that stuff that
Okay.
we have links to from Curie.
So here's another from Zvi. During the installation with Windows 10 Pro, after modifying the IE.CFG, you have to skip the key. Skip the key. Not, maybe that's something that would be obvious during the process. I don't recognize what that would be.
Well, and you can always say, I don't have a key.
Okay, Ran Israel does say that that document we saw is the same key method, the one that is the
Right.
from the answers community. Brian Lightfoot, Danielle watches Level 1 Tech News. Think you've been bitten by the technician curiosity and you mentally want to know answers so you can become worldly in your computer technician experiences. Zavi says because the board is activated. Oh, okay. It's yeah, when you're using that process, skip the key because the board is digitally activated, I suppose. So let me go and say hello to Josh. Hello, Josh. Whoops, he's gone. All right.
Right, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you, Jeff. Good topic. Let's see what else we got going on. I haven't seen anybody request topics.
How about number 3?
Number 3, default email software. I forgot that one was even on there. I put that one on there based upon a comment that I saw somebody ask on Carrie's show yesterday. And they said that on their Windows 11 machine, they were unable to change the default email client to Outlook. And then looking later in their comments, chit chat back and forth between people, I think what was going on there is he was using an older version of Outlook. He said the original version of Outlook, but no, that goes back to Windows 3.1 days. I think it goes back to there. I'm guessing it was probably Microsoft Office 2010, which I can easily see Windows 11 might be having trouble with that. Now, well, William, what was your reason for asking for that topic?
Because you would think that with each upgrade of Windows versions, that would be upgraded. Well, where does you go? How long do you go?
Say that again.
You would think with each new version of Windows that the email, that client would be updated as they go.
No, because Microsoft Outlook is not part of the operating system. You could upgrade a computer from Windows 10 to Windows 11 and not upgrade your Microsoft Office installation. So if you, under Windows 10, if you had Microsoft Office 2010 and you upgraded from Windows 10 to Windows 11, your Microsoft Outlook does not get upgraded by virtue of upgrading the operating system. And if you're, he did indicate in subsequent comments in the chat room that he was using an older version of Outlook. I didn't see him ever come up with what version, but some other people were suggesting other things for him to try, and he said he would try it. And at the beginning, when he said his comment, he said that he'd already tried everything, but then as other things were being suggested, he said, "Oh, I'll go try that." So I don't know where he was at with that, but I just put that in there because at that point in time I didn't have any topics. So you don't have a specific interest yourself, William.
No.
You're just okay. All right. Well, let's see if there's any other response about topics. Sin Vicious, hello. I don't remember saying hello to you earlier. I know your name was in there earlier. Richard Rogers, Ken Stout's here. Mondog to Jeff. This is one very reliable and extensive key reader that's been around for a long time. You'll find it interesting what it reveals. Takes a couple minutes to go through your machine, but results are very good. I don't see that Jeff is interested in that. That's going through your machine to pick up all the product keys that might be stored in your machine. I have used those in the past. I've had occasions where it got me what I needed, and other occasions where it got me information that looked like product keys, but they didn't work out. Still no topics. Okay, well, I'm gonna go take a look at that poll in the community tab, see how we're doing. Let's see, here's that poll. There's 9 votes last time I refreshed the screen, see if there's any more votes. Nope, still 9 votes. Delete. Now, here's the question. Question for all, quiz for all, QFA. Which do you think solved Myra Brundletwixer's printing problem? This is an unfair trick question. I admitted that right up front. This is based upon an actual recent troubleshooting issue that I went through with a client. Myra is her true actual first name. Brundletwixer is not her true last name. And I came up with this idea. I think I want to start doing this kind of thing. The first 2 letters, it is actually the first 2 letters of my client's company name. Delete old print jobs from the print queue and restart spooler. I have come across occasions where that does solve the problem. Restart printer. I have come across occasion where that does solve the problem. Disconnect and reconnect both ends of the USB cable. Ditto. Install pending updates and restart computer. Ditto. And buy an extension cable for USB thumb drives. I think one person voted for this, which is a little bit of a surprise for me. All of these are true results for fixing printer issues. In this case, for Myra, I actually did all of these steps. But which one actually solved the problem? What was the last one we did? If we did the last one first, would it have fixed the problems without doing the other fixes? I don't know. When I looked at the print queue, I found print jobs that were there from a few days previous. And she told me that the printer did work yesterday, the day before that I was working with her. So there were print jobs in the print queue, in the Windows print queue, that were dated prior to the last time she said that it was working. So I deleted the jobs in the print queue, and that did not solve it. Then I disabled the print spooler, went into the print spool folder, into the subfolder for printers, and found print jobs there from 2020. So I deleted those, restarted the printer service, and that did not solve the problem. We restarted the printer, that did not solve the problem. Disconnect and reconnect both ends of the cable. It took 3 days to accomplish this. The reason for that is that on the first day that I was talking to her, I had her disconnect the USB cable from the printer and plug it back in. And that was, oh, I just realized there's another one on here that I did not include. I had her disconnect the USB cable from the back of the printer and plug it back in. That did not solve the problem. Then I asked her to disconnect the USB cable from the back of the computer. And she just lets out with this big gasp and sigh. Ugh. Well, the reason for that is that she's got a built-in counter desk, and her computer is a cabinet under the desk that is, in order to open the door in front of the cabinet, she has to crawl down on her knees. And then in order to pull the computer out, she has to reach in and slide it out. The cables coming through to the computer, she has difficult time figuring out which is which. And part of her exasperation was that she was up against a deadline. So I sensed her voice and I said, well, you sound kind of tense or frustrated there. What's going on? And she told me she's got a deadline. And I said, well, I think she offered, look, I can just print to the copy machine for today. So that's what she did, print to the copy machine. I called back for her the next day. She was out of the office doing process services. I left a message for her. She didn't call me back. I called her again the next day. And, oh, yes, okay, we can do this now. She starts describing some other things. And I said, well, the last thing that I asked you to do is pull the computer out and disconnect and reconnect the USB cable on the back of the computer. So it takes a little while for her to do it. And we switch over to FaceTime on her cell phone. So she's showing me what she sees. She pulls the computer out, and I hear some different gasps from her, verbalizations, and she says, oh, I think I know what's wrong. The printer cable is disconnected from the back of the computer. So we're happy with that. She plugs it back in, pushes the computer in. I'm connected remotely. I go try to print, and it won't print. So then we go look at the print queue. We go turn the printer off and on. We restart our computer. What's going on? And say, okay, can you take your cell phone on FaceTime and show me where the printer cable plugs into the back of the printer? And she does that. And this is what I realized I didn't include in these options. She had the Type B connector for the USB cable plugged into the network port on the back of the printer, because the cable will fit into there. It'll push in, but that's an Ethernet port, and they're generally right next to each other. And the printer, is difficult to pull it out and turn it around. So she had disconnected the USB cable when I asked her to, and plugged it back in to the wrong port. Now, if we had gone straight for that USB cable in the first place, would that have solved the problem without deleting the print jobs that are in the print queue? Maybe, maybe not. But that was an intriguing situation. Now, we're not done. You might think, okay, problem solved. We go back to work. And she says, well, the reason why that happened, I think I need a new computer. So, okay, why do you think you need a computer? Or she said, can we get a new, let's see, what did she say? She didn't say computer. I think she said box or brain. The people in this office, they refer to their computer tower as the brain. I can't get them to call that a computer. I call it the computer. They want to call it the brain. So she tells me that she gets USB memory sticks from their clients for a case that they're working on now. This is unusual. There's this one case that she's having to do that. But when she plugs it into the USB ports on the front of the computer, it doesn't work. She has to plug it into the back of the computer. So she has to get down on hands and knees, pull the computer out, and plug that USB stick into the back of the computer. She says, that's why I think the printer cable came unplugged. So when I pulled it out, it just pulled the cable out. So she wants a new computer because the front panel USB ports don't work. Well, to get to those, she has to lean down under her desk, open that cabinet door, and plug them in. I said, I think I got a better solution for you. So we went onto her Amazon account. She has authority to order small, inexpensive items from Amazon. And we order a 5-foot long USB extension cable to sit on top of her desk so she can just plug in a USB memory stick on top of her desk. So that should save from a repeat of this problem. Okay, so that is the quiz. And basically this quiz, all of these are valid answers for fixing a printer issue, and that's why I say it's an unfair trick question. Going to chat. Where was I at? Craig Key, Brian, Jeff. Should look at the time. Okay, Cordius Technology, hello. Another tool to find keys. I hate computer cabinets. She knows how techs feel servicing those types of cabinets. Yeah, but it looks nice. Well, Jeff Ryman, and I had to get them to install a vent because when it was first built, there was no air ventilation. Just give it a try. It's harmless. I went to the website for Bell Arc Advisory. I believe it's honest, good tool. I'm sorry, Long Dog. I'm not going to read through all of this. Jeff has read through it, I'm sure. Ken Stout, who is this Fryman person you referred to? Oh, that's to Long Dog. Long Dog, looks like I got an adjustment to make 2 dragons, naturally speaking. To make 2, oh, T-O. Seldom Ball, you might have included the quiz, answers all of the above and none above. Yeah, I thought of that, but they wouldn't, there was no more, I couldn't put in any more answers. There was a limit to how many answers I could put in. I'm about to build 7 computers for a client. Going to be a busy day. Yeeks. All right. What next? Tim Sowell, you got any stories from your week?
Yeah, I have an interesting story.
What's that?
I got a call at 10:30 at night. Of course, I was asleep. I didn't see it until the next morning at 3:30 a.m. The school teacher called me up. Never met this person before, so they were referred to me by somebody else that I've done work for before. I guess one of their students dropped her laptop on the floor.
Oh, I've got your pictures.
Yeah, you can show those.
Oh, that's number 10. That's number 10 on the list. I actually added it onto the list when I saw your email come in this morning. Let's see. After we deal with that, how about we go, Josh? Is this something your differential backup because it's taken like 4 hours to do? We'll talk about your issue next. I'm not sure that I'm going to be connecting your computer. We need to talk about that first. So we'll talk about that next. Okay.
Okay.
Broken laptop hinge. Let me get that pulled up here.
It was a lot more than just a hinge.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be. I couldn't tell from the photos. Excuse me, from the photos whether it was more than that. Let's here. Okay, so here's photo number 1. You actually give us a blue circle to say, here's where the problem is, if we couldn't notice it. It looks to me like this is plastic that is broken out from the lid, and there's maybe some cracks here on the screen and in the plastic. And these brass parts are, when this whole plastic piece is properly connected at the bottom of that monitor, you wouldn't see these brass and parts. And then this metal part here is the part of the hinge that connects to this component here, and then this part over here is the part that is attached to the computer. So the computer part of this hinge looks okay, and I would expect when you buy a replacement hinge, it's going to be a replacement of this unit over on the left and this, because this right here is not any kind of a screw and nut combination. That looks like some kind of a manufacturer installed rivet to join those two pieces. So then this piece here would be connecting to the bottom of the monitor, and if the plastic at the bottom of the monitor was okay, meaning it hadn't broken out, then you could just screw it in. But in this case, it looks like this substantial part of this monitor is going to have to be replaced. Now the next picture, was that a fair assessment of this picture?
Yes.
All right. Here's a picture of that same hinge from the back. So you see those brass pieces and that black plastic that's torn out from the bottom of the monitor. You can see how much it's misaligned. You can see some separation, I think, of the screen on the front of the display panel.
Yeah, it got separated.
Yeah, you see broken plastic here. So that the replacement hinge is probably this metal and the metal that goes underneath into this cave right here. But this plastic here appears to be broken. So I think there's more of the base of the computer that has to be replaced, and it might be this whole top surface of the computer. And it looks like there's some damage to this USB port here. Is that true?
It's that has to be replaced.
Yeah, so that's part of the damage.
That's probably going to have to be resoldered in.
The USB port?
Yeah.
So it's not just the case.
It's disabled.
All right.
And the touchscreen was damaged. And the webcam was damaged because she doesn't know the PIN to log into it no more.
Okay, so this computer hasn't been used for a while? Because she doesn't know
teacher.
Okay,
she forgot her PIN.
She forgot her PIN. Well, when you're trying to log in, you can click, there's something called options or something, right, where it's asking for the PIN underneath it. There's a link you can click on to use a password login instead of the PIN, if she knows the password.
She was doing the face recognition, which I would never do.
All right. Well, you can always, I think there might be a way to turn off password sign in, but even if you're doing face recognition, you still should be able to use both the PIN and the password. Now here's the last picture showing from the back, a little bit out of focus. And you can see how much the display panel is offset from its normal position.
Yeah, some wires got ripped loose.
I think we can see a little bit more about that damage around the USB port. It's kind of pulled out away from the case.
I'm wondering if a student threw it on the floor.
Really? That's pretty.
That's a lot of damage.
That's pretty severe. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's an ongoing project, but I got her up and going temporarily with a different laptop. Luckily, she has backups on a cloud.
Oh, good. So that takes care of her data.
So that was just a Band-Aid for now, but we'll get her a new touch screen and everything replaced soon. But we're not in no hurry right now since we got her doing something else.
All right. I'm reading through these messages myself. I'm going to not read them all because it takes too long. Little duct tape will fix the broken hinge. Weakest points in the hinges, plastic standoffs. Yeah. Duct tape. I actually did a little research on that. It's valid either way. Duct tape or duck. Duct or duck. Duct meaning like air conditioning ducts. But DUCK is also valid. I see many machines type of damage. C-type connector in the picture. Was that a C-type USB port that's damaged? I thought that doesn't look like. Oh, this is C over here on the left.
Yeah.
But this one that's damaged, that's a type A.
So C, HDMI, and then a USB.
Yeah. Is the HDMI port okay? And the C
No.
port? It's not?
The HDMI, I don't know if that works or not. Didn't try it.
All right. Needs new upper deck. I would not spend the money to fix this computer. Not going to be economical repair. You're also going to need the bottom case. I would look into buying a used computer of the same model.
That's what we're going to do.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Rather than buying those individual parts.
Look for one on eBay that's for parts only.
Soren would use hot glue to repair that. Really? Is he? Oh, it looks like he's got a similar problem on the side here. I want to scroll for. Yeah, there's a hot glue gun. All right. Yeah, I wouldn't have been going there.
That would work.
Let's get back to there and chat. By the way, you're going to try to get those parts very difficult. Not worth the dollars. Yeah, I think used computer could be very well worth it. Is it a significantly current computer?
Yes. HP Envy or something or another.
All right. Windows 11 capable?
Yes.
All right. Duct
A
tape
school
is a brand.
teacher. Her being a school teacher, she was desperate.
All right. Yeah, I buy this, Jeff, saying that Duck, D-U-C-K, is a brand of duct tape. He has repaired several hinges with hot glue. Yeah, Lawn Dog agreeing with the idea about a used machine. Okay, now, did somebody else come in? Oh, Gary Weisenberger. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, sir. Actually, you're going to hate me. Duct tape came from the way it's patterned. It's like duct closing that they used to make in like the early times of plumbers. Like
duct closing.
Yeah, it's the pattern interleaving the clothing, and the tape is made the same way. Before they even put it on labels.
The pattern in manufacturing the tape.
Well, if you take a look at duct tape, it's got a pattern. It's got like lines in it.
Yeah.
Like webbing. That is actually clothing used to be made like that. And they called it duct.
All right. That's a new one on me. Okay.
And a lot of weird stuff I learned in school 50 years ago.
Let's move on to, let's see, Josh was asking about, let's get back here to this. Josh Kinder, differential backup because it's taken like 4 hours to do. That was abbreviated from his emailed question. So I'm going to go bring up his email. So more specifically, cover that. Yeah, here we go. Josh's email. Differential backup because it is taking like 4 hours to do, and I have a lot of information for iPad and iPhone, along with the games that I play and the Zoom text and JAWS that I use. I would like to start doing differential backups. Can you please help me set that up tomorrow? Please, thank you. Okay, Josh, the questions I have for you. I recall connecting remotely to your computer. I think it was just last week, and we saw that it was set up.
Yeah, that was the one at the group home. This is the one that Ken built.
Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah,
So
what
this
I
one,
what
this
I was
one has a lot more information.
okay, what I was going to say, if you had let me finish my sentence, was the one I looked up last week was doing a full backup once a month and differential backups once a week. So this is a different computer.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and connect remotely to it and see what you've got. Do you have an icon on that computer for DougBetts
Yeah.
Remote?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got to do my two-factor authentication to get into my remote access software. It is that one. I got 3 different authentication apps. If anyone's wondering, my authentication number is 864712. See if you can do anything devious with that.
You'd be surprised.
In some cases, perhaps, but I don't think this case. In order to use that, they would have to be launching Log Me and Rescue technician, already put in my email address, already put in my password, and get into it within the time limit before I did. Good luck with all of that.
User account control, you have user account control, hit okay.
Yep, hit OK.
Sorry about the
Oh.
phone.
Sorry about the what?
The phone ringing.
Oh, I did not hear it. All right, we'll minimize that chat window and drag this zoom down underneath my picture-in-picture. So let's see, we want, this is Macrim Reflect, right? And
Yep.
here's the icon for that. We'll go see what it is using. Say yes to the user account control. So Long Dog says because of the pattern, you can tear it regarding the duct tape. Do you concur with that, Gary? Is that part of the reason for the pattern on that tape? Okay, so going to look at scheduled backups. That's the schedule. The definition files are here. We've got a bunch of definition files. Ay, caramba. Let's make this part of the screen bigger. I get that double-headed arrow, drag this panel down. These are all the backup definitions. Yikes, it goes further than that.
I ran a backup last night because it wanted to do a backup, but I wasn't here.
All right. Now, in scheduled backups, we see there's a full backup at 2 a.m. on the last Sunday of every month, and there's no incremental backups being done. Now, when I right-click and edit on this scheduled item, failed to load XML definition file, so it can't even find this definition file. Yeah, let's see, I'm trying to look at what that says. JRK new build backup. Go look at the definition files. Yeah, there's nothing in here called JRFK. So I'm thinking what I'd like to do is delete all of these backup definitions you have here, in here and start over. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine.
All right. So I tried Control A. That does not let me select all of them. Looks like I have to do them one at a time.
I don't know how many there are, but there's probably a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Let's see if I can get some key sequences here. Looks like I'm going to have to click on delete for each of these and then enter. Okay, I don't actually have to click on the definition file. I can just click on the delete button and then enter. Delete, enter, delete, enter. That saves me from some mouse movements. I was trying to select all of those definitions at once, and it wouldn't let me do that. One Doug says, the pattern on the tape is kind of checkerboard or crisscross. They have material like string running lengthwise and crosswise across the width, so it looks like a checkerboard. Greg M says, wow, I'm going to think that that's because of all these definitions. I'm reading chat and deleting definitions at the same time. How about that for being talented? I wonder if the fast guys refer to it as race tape. All right, coming back here. Nope. Here.
Actually,
Okay,
Doug,
yeah.
the correct name is Kentucky Chrome.
Kentucky Chrome
Yeah.
is the correct name for duct tape?
Yeah, you cover your bumper with it in Kentucky.
Oh, I think that's a joke. Right? Did I fall for it?
Yeah, I thought it was a clean one. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was plenty clean. It was just I was taking you seriously until you described it more. Right.
And I was officially born in Kentucky while my parents were on vacation, so I can make fun of it.
All right. So here I'm on the Create Backups tab, and this is for folder. I want to do an image backup. Local disk. Oh, okay. I was still on the definitions tab. That's why I wasn't getting what I wanted. So on the Create Backups tab, on the local disk tab, and then image this disk. We've got this top section is selected right now. This is one of the little bit of a learning curve when people are first using Macrame Flex. There's this light blue line around this upper portion. These bottom ones down here have check marks, but they are not the current selection. If I click down here, watch what happens with these two menu options where it says clone this disk or image this disk. When I click down here, those menu options show up down here. We don't want to clone that disk or image it because that's the backup drive. So come back up here to this top disk and choose image this disk. And then leave all these check marks so we can image the entire disk. And then here we're selecting where we want to back it up to. We have a folder already that's been previously selected on this computer for the D drive in a folder called Macrame Backups. Click OK on that. I didn't actually have to click into that. And then we can put in a specific backup file name here if we want to, but we can just leave it using the defaults, and that's my preference. On clients' computers. Then I go into this advanced options and choose auto verify image, and then go to verify file system. Make sure that check mark is there. It should be there by default. Click OK, click next. And then a template for the backup plan. If you choose a template for differential backup, it automatically populates a little bit of this. 9 a.m. on the first Monday of every month is the default. So I'll click on that and edit the schedule. And I didn't notice when you were doing it previously. When do you prefer the backups to run?
2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
On the first Monday of the month, Sunday, what
Monday, doesn't matter.
Okay, so first Monday, 2 a.m. for all of these months. And this is a monthly backup for a full backup. And that it's a full backup that you're saying takes over 4 hours.
Yeah, I took over 4 hours last night.
Okay, so then differential backup, will edit that schedule, change it to 2 a.m. and also Mondays. When I first, weekly, unless you want it more often.
I don't know how often you think I could do it.
Well, let me ask you this question to answer that. If we do it weekly on Mondays, then the next backup is going to occur the following Monday. So let's suppose next Sunday the hard drive crashes, which means you're going to lose everything since the last differential backup. So that's 6 days worth. Are you going to be upset about that?
Yeah, because I have to put 5 days of information in.
No, you don't have to put. Well, actually, yes, you do. 6 days
Well,
worth of.
yeah, if there's any changes between now and 5 days later, I'm gonna have to put that information back in.
Right. So would you be okay with having to put back in 3 days of information?
2 days, yeah. But 3,
2
2
days?
days, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, we'd want to do differentials perhaps on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and perhaps skip Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
That'd be all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
So that's the way we could handle that. So it is at 2 a.m. Change that to 2 and click OK. Okay. So it's going to take the full backup time on the first time that it does this backup. Define retention rules. We'll keep 26 weeks, 30 days, and I typically leave those at default unless I have specific reason to go lower. And purge the oldest backup if less than a certain number of gigabytes on the target volume. It shows 5. I like to have more space, more free space always on the drive, so I'll put that at 90. We might go back and review that. Let's see. Let's see how large your backups are. Did Windows key E to bring up Explorer, go into the Macrium Backups folder, and your full backups. There's a 148 gigabyte and 524 gigabyte. Huge difference. So see, right click on your C drive and choose properties, see how much space is in use. 296 gigabytes in use. Did you, September 30, did you that big one is very recent. That
was probably yesterday.
That was this morning, 12:05 a.m. this morning. 524 gigabytes. When you don't have nearly that much in use.
Guys,
Hold on.
did they call you yet?
No. Go ahead.
All right. It's possible. Well, you haven't been doing incremental backups because incremental backups can get incorporated into a full backup. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. We'll just have to check up on that once in a while. And your backup drive has plenty of free space available. 2 terabyte drive. Okay. Click next. And then finish. Here's something that by default, it's going to save the backup definition on your C drive. And I have had occasions where I've chosen to save the backup on the backup drive. And that would be occasions where if the drive goes bad, I don't want to have to go back and recreate the backup job. But for you, the backup job is pretty simple. So I think we'll be fine with that. We don't want to run it now. And we'll go ahead and save it in the default location, which is a subfolder of your documents folder. And I'm imagining this is a free version. So somebody was asking about increment. Well, Yeah, you can't do incrementals. This is backroom free. I see some conversation going on about that. Okay, that should do it for you. You want to go look at
Thank you.
the scheduled backups. We see here's the definition for full, and here's the definition for the incrementals. Now wait, oh, this is a schedule that's still there for that job that's not available, that it can't find. So let's delete that. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I'm going to disconnect from your computer.
I'm gonna probably head out because I have to go somewhere.
All right. And since I forgot to declare this, I'm going to end today's show about 40 minutes from now, 15 minutes before the 2-hour mark, because I've got something else I need to go tend to.
We got later.
All right. See you, Josh. Now let's see. Oh, I just not supposed to click there. I just moved the screen on YouTube. Duct tape is called 200 mile per hour tape at the NASCAR track. Scanning through these. Lawn Dog would recommend doing it daily at 8. That's a personal choice based upon how a person answered those questions. So I'm very reluctant, and it kind of triggers me, I guess, a little bit. And it's unfair, Lawn Dog, for me to get triggered when you suggest something like that. But I always want to ask questions of the client rather than just putting out a for everybody kind of recommendation. Are you using this machine for YouTube broadcasts? I would do daily backup. Why would that? Well, no, because when you do a YouTube broadcast, YouTube stores the video. The only reason to back it up, to want to back up the computer locally, is the remote possibility that you're doing local backups and YouTube deletes your video. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. And my daily differential backup, it only takes about 20 seconds. That depends upon how much content that you're adding. So like a daily differential backup is going to change everything. It is going to back up everything that's been changed since the last full backup. So let's say suppose Josh were to do differential backups every day. On Saturday, it's going to be backing up all the files that have changed or been added since the last full backup, not since the last differential backup. And if he's storing local backups of all of his live streams, his differential backup is going to take significantly longer than that. You also might ask him about the message that will be printed across the screen when the backup is occurring, whether differential or full. It's a notification that can be turned on or off. You can't do incrementals since this is free. I leave mine on so I know what my machine is doing. I leave mine on also because sometimes I turn this machine off, I turn it back on, and it prompts, lets me know that it's going to do a backup right now. And sometimes I tell it to skip the backup. Browse to the large backup to see what was backed up. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. But since we deleted that backup job, I'm going to let go of that. But yeah, that would have been a good way to find out what that was there. Cloning will also clone anything harmful like malware and spyware. I prefer a fresh install. I always back up any important files separately to the cloud or USB drive. Yeah, that's another way to handle it. If his backups, if the incremental backups, differential backups, if they're taking a long time, what we could do is create a separate backup job that just backs up the data files that he wants backed up, because maybe those local copies of his live streams, maybe he doesn't need those backed up. So we could create another backup job that does an everyday, even full backup of his documents folder, his pictures folder, his video folder. It could be included in that if his live streams are not recorded to that folder. Lawn Dog, I love it when you use me to explain things. I hope you do. I hope you're okay with that, because sometimes I feel like I'm sounding harsh, but you give me extra content, Lawn Dog. But sometimes I do skip over stuff. Tim says, I see. I love being a sounding board. Yeah, that fits. I have no idea how YouTube works when you use it. What about something you create on your machine, then upload it? Yeah, if you create it on your machine, it's stored on your machine, you can upload it. But when you're live streaming, in your live stream software, whatever software that you're using, you can tell it by a checkbox whether you want a local copy stored as well. Rely on YouTube to keep your materials. Zavid, the file will not delete, even you delete the processes. That's true. Those backup files, that big backup file is still there. And good point, Zavid. When we check on Josh's backups a few weeks from now, those backups that are there right now will still be there, because those won't cycle out by virtue of the new definition. The new definition will delete the old versions that were created with that new definition file as it needs space. But those old files will stay there until we go manually delete them. And I don't think it's appropriate for us to delete them now, because if we did that, we would not have a full backup. So if his computer crashes before 2 a.m. Monday, we've got no backup. And he has plenty of free space on the backup drive. All right, I'm back to the Zoom panel. William, you just stifled a yawn there. I saw that. No response. No comeback. No snappy comeback to that.
You have to wake him up first.
You know what it is? He's actually watching something else. And he's just keeping a pleasant expression on his face in case he comes up on screen once in a while and doesn't realize it. Is that what it is, William?
I just got your YouTube channel letter screen.
You got what?
Your YouTube channel letter screen.
Oh, my wall on the other screen. Yeah, I got Zoom on one screen and
YouTube on the other.
All right. That way you can let me know if the stream crashes. Let's see. What other things did we have to talk about?
I found this on the web. For what other things did we have? Check it out.
I wasn't talking to you. How did she come alive? That's the SIRI one, not the ALEXA. Oh, let's see. By the way, where is Josh storing his backup? It's an external drive. I got the impression it was on the same hard drive. No. We saw it as an external drive by the label, the name of that drive. If you go back in the video, it had some kind of a name that implied it was an external drive. And that breaks the rules. Okay, so here's again where Lawn Dog volunteers to be the pin cushion for me. I have times where I actually do make a partition and do the backups on the same drive. The times when I do that is if I'm connected remotely to a client's computer and there's a large drive installed inside that computer. Let's say it's a 1 terabyte or a 2 terabyte, and their space in use is less than 100 gigabytes. I'll create a separate partition on that drive and do backups there, because I can do that. I can set that up remotely now. And I've had occasions where my client has an external drive, but it's not working and they didn't realize it. It became unplugged, the power button got turned off on it, the USB cable got disconnected, and they have no clue that that has happened. That never happens if I'm using a partition on their internal drive. Now, the downside of that is if the drive itself goes bad and all the partitions are wiped out, then I'm not able to recover from backup. In those instances, without exception, That's a computer where the data is stored on a file server or in the cloud. There is some other form of protecting the data, and the only reason we're even doing an image backup of that hard drive is so that I don't have to do a fresh install of Windows, install all of their applications, make all of the adjustments for user preferences that I know they like, because if I don't do that, they're going to call me about it. My clients are used to that level of convenience service. So it's very, and I have had more instances of being the hero that flies in to save the day because I did exactly that. I created a partition, had an image backup there. My clients, their computer's misbehaving, but the drive has not gone bad. I go into their office, or in some cases even connect remotely, and restore the image, the last image, which is always from the last night, and save the day. I'm their hero. Doug, it sounds like Macrium doesn't notify that there's an external drive plugin or that backup failed. If you have the paid version, you can configure it to send you emails for successful backup and or for failed backups. So when I have a paid version installed on a client's computer, and I do that many times, I'll have it configured to send me emails if there's a failure. I also have some configured to send me emails when the backup succeeds, and every day I actually check to make sure those emails showed up. Let's see, that's chit chat. I'm not sure what the conversation is. You have to turn notifications on in Windows, and I would never trust my clients to pay attention to those notifications. When the notification comes up to my client, they click them off. If they call me about them and ask me, what does that mean? I read the statement and say, read the statement and say, okay, what it means is, read the statement again, because it says exactly what it means. But either they're not understanding it or they're not believing that it is as simple and correct as what it says. But sometimes the wording is not recognizable. We'll try to grab a screenshot when I get a failure to update. And I invite anybody to send me photos of issues they've come across on computers and screenshots. That's exactly what your customer will do. Great sounding board that I make. Daniel Emberley, noting Macrium Reflect Free is no longer available. Should it still be used? Might want to consider show illustrating use of Veeam Agent for Windows Free Edition. Possibly. Maybe I would be. I'd have to look into it. I'm not familiar with it. Yes, Macrium Reflect is no longer free. However, there are ways to get it. And I think, I want to say it was the demeanor that provided that link in the past, and I do have that link available. But if you're so inclined to paste that link in there, if it was you indeed, this would be a good time to do it. Doco, home users don't really need cloning software. Now let's discuss the difference between cloning and image backup. Cloning is where you have another drive and you're doing a clone from one drive to the other, and you can put that clone drive into the computer and boot off of that. You're not going to select clone if you want to create a backup file on a backup drive. That's not what cloning is. Cloning is an exact match of the drive on a drive that is exact match or better. And that would be if you're replacing the drive on a computer. That would be an appropriate time to do that. Now I have a file server in a client's office where we have a RAID 1 configuration, 2 drives. There are images of each other. When I go in to rotate the external backup drives and check to make sure they're operating properly, I also pull out one of those RAID 1 drives and put in a spare drive, and then it resynchronizes the image between them. And that gives me always, I have a clone of the boot drive for that computer. and that RAID 1 is just a boot drive. Zavi says, look the Zoom for picture of the day. Oh, that's what he's referring to about the picture. Oh, there we go. Let's see. I'm gonna spotlight. Let's see. That's pin hide. Why do I not even see how to? There's pin. I want to make that big. Maybe I can't do it when you don't have your camera or sharing your screen. I guess that's what's going on. Working in IT is not stressing at. Let's see. What did you do there? Does that make it available for me to? Pin isn't gonna. Oh, that does make it bigger. Dave, working in IT is not stressing at all. Dave, 28 years. I think I'm not seeing all the words.
It's supposed to say old.
Old?
Yeah.
Working in IT is
Not stressful at all at 28 years old.
Okay. Oh, yes. And
Oh, cut it off.
Is this a picture of Dave when he was 28 years old?
Yeah, from working in IT.
Yeah, okay, I get it. That's what a 28-year-old working in IT is going to look like. Nice. Now remove pin. Thank you. Did I hear somebody come in? Tim, did we have something to do you have an Oh, I know it. Tim, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so in a video recently when you were not present, I think you were working, so I don't know if you watched it. I asked you to disable your Windows Defender and disable your Windows Firewall. Did you try that?
I was going to try. I was going to try it today, but I was going to try it today, right? But something happened where when I connected the connection for the internet port, it wasn't popping up on the computer. It wasn't detecting it at all. So right now, and then plus after that, Wi-Fi went out on not the Wi-Fi box, but I mean my driver. It wasn't installed, and I checked Device Manager, and they were all showing exclamation marks and stuff. So right now I'm doing a media recovery from the novel. So it's wiped out all of my stuff, and I'm redoing everything all over again. So that's what's going on right now, and I'm waiting for the process to finish. It's halfway done, or more than halfway done. It's almost done. So that's what's going on right now with me.
All right. Well, and we'll get an update from you another day then.
Okay.
Then I'm coming back to chat here. Sin Vicious says, have you ever used Malwarebytes? Yes. And particularly when ransomware first came out, I used their Malwarebytes ransomware tool. It was an extra tool when it was free. I have used Malwarebytes myself and on clients' computers, but I don't anymore because I am very satisfied with Windows Defender, and I've actually had occasions where Malwarebytes actually caused trouble. So I'm not using any third-party security software anymore. Tim gives me a link for Veeam, so I will bring that up on a tab and look at that later today. And Danielle also gives me a link for that. Thank you. It looks like the same one. Ask again. I had missed your request. Oh, what I was asking you to do is, I think you had previously provided a link where people could download a free version of Macrium Reflect. If that's not you, I'll go, oh, here it is. Oh, he did. All right. So let's go see that. Yeah, it gives you all these different older versions. And not all of these are the free version. Let's see. That was back in, I think, the end of somewhere in 2022. February, March, May, September. Might have been September or November of 2022. I don't think the 2023 version is free, but back it was one of these two. Maybe Zavi knows which one it is. I have it in my notes somewhere if anybody seriously wants that. Does it still work? I'd be lost in that explanation. I'm not sure which explanation you're referring to. Okay, caught up there. I'm going to go back and look at the list because I think there's some other things that I wanted to get out here. October commercials. It's kind of looking to me like YouTube is really pushing for commercials and live streams. So on the theme that I was talking with Ken Stout recently about doing month-long tests of different strategies. At this point in time, I think I'm going to use the month of October for testing commercials, manual commercials during the Saturday live streams once. Because my concern is I think they're going to start pushing more and more for them. And also, will YouTube push out my videos more if I'm actually including commercials during the live stream? And if I can select when to do them, you will know that they're coming. So you can take a break, turn to a different screen. I've also got some thoughts about other things that I can keep entertained with in the chat room during that time. So I'm just giving you a heads up that is coming. You can make your feelings about that known, but it's coming. But I'm going to let you know when they're going to hit, and I'm not going to continue the show. The problem with let me show you this over here. The problem with the way YouTube wants them to go out, YouTube wants, I'm not going to click that there now, but there's the choice of manual or automated. I think I can show you that down here. Yeah, schedule mid-roll ads at a set frequency or insert mid-roll ads manually. I think if I do like once after we're an hour into the show and I give you a heads up that I think they may be tolerable. And I'm also thinking that, like I started to say, and I don't think I finished, I think YouTube will push out my shows more if I'm actually helping them make more money. And frankly, I do need to make money off of this channel in the long run. So through the month of October, I want to test that. I'm going to test that and see how it goes. Look back at the analytics and see how you guys feel as an audience based upon how I, handle that with you. The headline says free on those Macrim Reflect. Let's see. The headline says free. So maybe you actually have to click into it. Macrim Reflect free. And then if I come back here to the most recent one, that says Macrim Reflect free too. So I recollect when I first went through this, there was something about the most recent versions that was either not free or did not have some feature that I wanted. And now that you say that this claims free, I don't know, maybe the most recent one is free. Thank you for that clarification. I've got version 7.3 of Macrim, which was probably one of the last free versions. I'm not sure if that helps you reference which one to download. What about premium YouTube users? That's an interesting question because my understanding, and this will be part of the test, my understanding is that if I click to manually insert an ad, we'll start with automatic ads. In fact, I think it tells us there. This here. Let's go look at this. That's a good question. I come back here to this place. Place ads during specific moments of your live stream. Determine the frequency of ads throughout your live stream. Ads are not guaranteed, and not all viewers will get an ad. Viewers that are served ads will rejoin the stream after ads are skipped or ended. So that means my stream, if I choose this option, I can continue my stream, and the people who got an ad are missing part of the stream. That's totally unacceptable. You will still be able to manually insert ads during the stream for breaks and transition periods. Now, I think with doing insert mid-roll ads manually, I'm suspecting that what's going to happen is the stream continues. My camera's still on. You're still hearing me if you're on premium and you're not seeing the ad. So my intention is to stop the show. I'm not going to press the stop button, but I might walk away from the desk. I might go get myself another bottle of water. I might have chit chat with the Zoom people in Zoom. I'm not sure, but that will be interesting to find out how that works. Thank you for that question, because I did not know. You chose the what you installed and used. You choose the version, what you installed and used. You chose the version, what you installed and used. Okay, I'll go look at my notes, because I think I know where I've got that noted to myself. When I set up a new computer in my lab, I'm kind of scanning through this to see if I have any client-specific stuff in here. I don't think I do. Let's see, macro effect. Still no. No, this is just the end of this checklist. That one doesn't have it. Okay, do I have it on my contact card for Macrium? I do not see it there. Oh, you know what? I think that was a cleaned up version of my checklist.
That version of Macrium is dated January of 2023.
You mean the most recent one that was
free? Yeah.
On that list of free. Now I have 5 paid licenses for myself for my own computers. So I'm not using the free version. And I'm actually not fully utilizing it the way that I want to. And I have Macrium Reflect Home version 8.0.7167, and I may not have it updated. I have the licenses, or I haven't always applied them to my computers. This license expires 12/16/22. So that's expired, but I'm pretty sure I bought the current licenses and just didn't bother installing the current version, because all I care is that it's functional.
Hey, Doug, got a quick question about the Macrium free, and I don't use it, so this is for you guys or Josh.
All right.
If he's using it, because I use a Cronus, and I just use it on my personal machine for imaging once a couple of weeks for any changes, because everything else is on the server. So, I don't really care.
Right.
If I lose the Windows drive, basically, I mean, it's another, new drive and we're back. Anyway, I'm assuming that does a phone home. Will that work after the end of the year? Because they say it's not going to be a.
I have many client computers out there that are still using the original version of Macrometer Reflect that I installed in their computers, and when I go do something with them, I find that it prompts me for an update, and I just click no. And
No, I mean the free version, though.
Yeah, those are free. Some of those are free versions.
Yeah, but what about after they no longer support the free version? Will they allow you to use it for backup purposes, not cloning purposes?
Well, I don't know. I have not come across an instance where where it's not working. So they stopped providing the free version from Macrium Reflect, but they still support it. So your question is, after they end support, will it still operate? And I don't know.
Yeah, same.
If it stops operating, if I discover that a client's computer had stopped operating, I will then consider whether to do a paid version on their computer or not. My client computers that I have the free version on, I do that on computers that are not critical to back up, where it's just an image backup and it saves me from having to reinstall all their applications. But it's a level of computer that if we had to pay for it, then I would be obligated to ask my client about it. And it's just, is it ever going to benefit them? Particularly since I think it's a subscription model now. Because most of the computers out there that of my clients that have it, we've never benefited from it, never needed to restore the backup. But on the occasion when I do use it and become the hero and save the day, well, in some of those cases, then I'll go ahead and put them on the paid version to say, hey, you benefited from this. I got cheated from this because I couldn't charge you as much time for my work. So I shortcutted myself. We need to be paying the company for this software because you receive this benefit. I haven't been as disciplined as I would like to say that about doing that, but that's where my sense of right and wrong currently sits. It can be argued either way. Did I answer your question? I'm not sure how I got onto that.
Actually, I don't have a question. I had a comment.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I was just responding to a comment. Whatever.
No, but thank you. Yeah.
Download speed from that site is horrible. Yeah, that is not Macrium's website. So when you go there, wait a minute. That says Macrium. No, that's from Up to Down. So that's not from Macrium's website. This website that's providing these free softwares, what is their motivation for providing this for free? Do I have an ad blocker active right now? uBlock Origin. Yeah, I guess I do. So if I turn that off, do they have ads on this site? Yeah, here's an advertisement trying to come in, but it went away. It didn't come in. uBlock Origin. Did I successfully turn it off? Blocked on this page 0 domains. It's off. So refresh that page. There's an advertisement. And that's the only advertisement. So that's what they're trying to get you to do to get easy PDF. And websites that provide things for free are generally trying to make revenue off of advertisements that show on their site. 8.0.7279 is the last fully free version. So maybe there's some elements in these other ones that are not fully free. Could it be a free trial?
The one that's downloaded off the...
Oh, no, well, that is the most recent. This is the most recent, 7279.
That's actually from January.
Oh, okay. It shows a date here on their website of September 4th, but the date of that program is actually January 23.
That's an installer. The files inside the installer are January. I just opened it up and looked.
All right, that makes sense. What is the most current version from their website? Macrium.com. Let's see, products, site backup, personal Macrium Reflect Home. 2 ways to buy annual plan. So that's a subscription or one-time purchase. I don't know where it's going to, how far do I have to go into this to see their version? What version? Upgrades. Firewall. Is somebody telling us in chat what the current, let's try. What is current version of Macrium Reflect Home? There it is, 8.1.7401. 7401. Yeah, so it's a few out. Oh, hang on.
Show timer is done.
Shut up. I muted my microphone when I said her name so I wouldn't trigger your devices. That's to remind me to end the show. Oh, let's see. Just paid version. Laptop is finished setting up. Tim's laptop is finished. When you show the icon for uBlock Origin, right click and go to options. Well, let's chit chat between them. I think there's chit chat going on between people there. So, any final questions, comments before we shut down from the Zoom session? Sounds like a no.
No.
All right, I'll ask you in the Zoom session to say goodbye to the audience then.
Goodbye, audience. Sayonara, hasta la vista, baby.
All right.
Take care. See y'all next time.
Bye. And a last look at chat, see if there's any other. Sin Vicious, what about second question? Let's see what second topic I think you're saying. Exploring USBDeview. Yeah, we don't have time to go into that now. Is that what you're referring to as the second question? Okay, I think that does it. I will read back over the chat messages to try to pick up on things that I missed. And I apologize if you said something really, really important that I didn't get to. Have a great day, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.